Hi, I'm Kelly Kearney with Starry Constellation Magazine, and TV and comedy fans, do we have a treat for you? Fresh off the Hacks season finale and starring now in Dave Chappelle's latest special on Netflix, welcome actress, comedian, queen of comedy, Luenell. Thanks so much for joining me today, Luenell.
Thank you for all those compliments. They're all true. Yes.
Well, the season just ended for Hacks. We have to talk about it. Everyone is still reeling for those final moments between Ava and Deborah. What was your reaction to that flip dynamic when you read it or when you saw it?
You know, I think Hacks is one of the best written shows on television and definitely one of the best written shows that I've been involved in. It never disappoints in the jaw-dropping moments, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm gonna say what I felt about it to make sure that everybody just gets excited and watches it. But I tell you, it's hard to up yourself season after season after season. Yes. The great shows do, Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that. But Hacks, and first of all, shout out to everybody connected, because A, hardly anybody writes material for mature women these days.
Correct.
B, it mirrors my life with Jean Smart being a female comic who's a little older, who's in Las Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas right now. I have my residency here. So I told Jean, I said, this is like my life, except I don't use writers at this point. To find out, and I found out later, that Hannah is the daughter of the great Lorraine Newman from, Ooh. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Hannah's mother, original, right? Hannah's mother is Saturday Night Live alumni Lorraine Newman. I almost fell on the floor when I found that out. And this is Hannah's first show. She has never performed in this job. There's just too many good things to say about that.
Too many good things. Well, I was going to ask you later, but since you brought it up, you feel connected to Deborah as a female comic. Do you feel like struggles that she goes through are things that you've faced in your career?
In a lot of ways. With the male-female dynamic in the business, with being older and trying to, stay relevant, with your disastrous love life. She's also a mother. I'm a mother. She has a daughter. I have a daughter. They do not face the same problems, however, but, the fact that like when she went to the AA graduation, with her daughter, and then her daughter's like, you have to make it about you all the time. Our natural go-to is to do comedy. When things get a little sketchy, do something funny, So I just adore this show, and I'm so glad to be there. I was only able to do one episode in this last season because when we started filming, then Jean had to have heart surgery.
Yes. I was going to ask you about that because not only have I been a fan of yours since Dave Chappelle's Block Party 20 years ago, I'm like dating myself right now, but anytime I see you on something, Luenell, I'm seated for it. So I was really kind of sad to only see you in one episode, the episode with the trivia, which made me laugh so hard when you called out Hannah's character Ava for her white girl natural wine,
Yeah.
So are you good?
And
then
after Jean's heart surgery, we went on strike.
Oh, yes. So you had a really long gap between that.
Really long. And then by the time they got to filming again, I was already on tour.
Oh.
So that's why I wanted to explain to the people. It's not like they wrote me out. And everything just happened, and, that's what happened. But honey, next season get picked up, which I'm sure it will. I'll be back.
Oh, it's already been picked up. Season 4 already is in the books, and I'm looking forward to it. When you did that episode with the bar trivia, it was very funny because everyone was so competitive and really relying on Ava to get the questions that you guys were going to get. Are you competitive like that in real life?
No, I don't give a shit. I don't. I am a sore loser.
Oh,
I will say that, but I'm not like competitive like that. No.
well, the fans hope to see you again in season 4, and hopefully you're in every episode. Is there anyone in the cast that you haven't worked with, you haven't shared a scene with, that you would like to next season?
Abbott Elementary, for sure. Um, I'm working on, show of my own. I want my own show. So we're in the works about that scoop. And I really like I really like I used to want to be on, believe it or not, I used to want to be on Big Bang Theory just because
Oh,
it's so quirky. It's quirky. And
mm-hmm.
I haven't played a quirky character, you know what I mean? But that's a lot of dialogue. They have some very they have some very encyclopedia-ish dialogue on that show. I always wanted to be on Big Bang Theory. And I want to work on anything that I can work on where I can work with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, yeah, okay. What about
I would like to do a buddy film, a buddy show with her.
Her buddy films are so hysterical. You guys would be epic in that.
That's what I think.
Great.
That's what I think.
Yeah. So is there anyone in the Hacks cast that you haven't worked with yet that you'd like to in season 4?
Well, I want to do more with Jean. I would love that. And I really love her the assistant to, that funny assistant girl.
Kayla, Megan Stouther. Yes.
She's like a genius.
Yes, Megan Stouther is so funny.
Oh my God, she's so funny. So I would like to do more stuff with her. And just me and my scene partner, Angela Gibb, I want to do, more with us because people like to see us together. We've been to like four. They didn't even know that her and I were real friends in real life when they cast us. But we had worked on Black Jesus together. We had done Think Like a Man 2, Think Like a Man, we've done movies together. So they did not know that we were friends, and then we ended up playing friends.
Well, we're going to talk about her in a second, but there are so many funny people in this cast. I mean,
there are.
It's such a vehicle for comedians. It really is. And also maybe actors that haven't been in the limelight so much recently that are making star appearances. It's just a wonderful kind of a vehicle for everyone that's just very funny. Who is the funniest on set that breaks everyone up in scenes? Because I heard from Rose Abdou that Marcus, played by Clemons-Hopkins, just cracks everybody up.
Did you interviewed Rose?
I did. She was wonderful.
Carl he's more like his character actually, but if you get him going, he's funny. It's really Angela and me that caused the most trouble on the set. Yeah. Yeah,
let's talk about her. What is going on with Marcus's mom and Miss Loretta? Because all the fans want to know what's up with them. It's never really been defined, but the fans are always like, what is going on with those two? Other than you guys are aunties to the new puppy that he couldn't raise.
Yes.
What do you think is going on between those two?
Nothing. We're drinking buddies. We hang out. We play games. We, chase men. I haven't shown a lot of that yet. But no, we're just nothing's going on. I know it's Pride right now, but nothing.
It is, and this show is huge with the Pride.
But if shout out to Pride. But nothing's going on. We're just mischievous, grown, semi-alcoholic women.
Every time you guys come on screen, I start laughing because I know it's going to drive Marcus nuts, and I love it.
His angst cracks me up.
Oh, yeah?
He's so upset with us all the time.
You're a successful comedian, female comedian. You surround yourself with other successful female comedians, kind of like your well-documented friendship with Kathy Griffin, who ironically was mentored by Joan Rivers, who then in turn was inspiration for Deborah Vance. It's kind of like all these links connected to female comedies. What are the female comics saying about Hacks? Because I know Jean Smart had said And she didn't think maybe TV viewers would buy her being a female comedian at first. And when I see how many comedians have joined the show or on the show, I certainly believe it. What are female comedians saying to you about the show, and how many of them want to get on it?
you know, a lot of, you know, comics are so self-centered that a lot of times they don't watch what other people are doing. You know what I mean? I haven't talked to a lot of comics about it. I talked to a lot of regular people about it, which is more important to me anyway. Joan mentoring Kathy being my friend, I always wanted to meet Joan, didn't get a chance to do it. But the broads that I hang out with, they're broads. Kathy, Chelsea, you know, Rosie, you know, we're broads, you know what I'm saying? And we have a pretty tough exterior, and we really go toe to toe with these guys in this business. So I haven't really talked to a lot of comics about the show, but there's a lot of people on the street who watch it, and they always stop me and tell me how much they enjoy me and enjoy the show.
Well, yeah, you know, you had said earlier that you had related to Deborah's struggles. What is it about her struggles in particular about women that just seems so familiar to you that when as soon as you watch the show, you're like, oh yeah, I have survived that, faced that, overcome that?
Well, the disastrous love life and trying to balance raising a well-rounded kid and doing the business for sure. The men always trying to do some underhanded shit behind your back for sure, you know, and trying to keep up with the, like, you know, you may have 6 years of financial gain, and then you may have 12 years of mediocrity. You got to try to keep that money flowing to maintain the lifestyle that you now put yourself in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just look, almost everything.
Almost everything.
Almost everything.
It's so familiar. It's so familiar to your experience. Yeah, I feel like it's familiar to a lot of women in the professional business sense that are, you know, constantly trying to break through that glass ceiling. They have to stay sharp, sharper than most, right?
Yes.
So Hacks just ended for season 3. It just got picked up for season 4. But this is just the start of Luenell's 2024 year of comedy, because you're now on Netflix with Dave Chappelle. You're highlighted on his new series, Dave Chappelle's Home Team. How did that come about? Because I know you guys go way back. As I said, I aged myself 20 years. All the way back 20 years.
We sort of go way back. I actually wasn't involved in any of the block party stuff except for just watching like everybody else. But we met in Canada at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. And what is wild is I didn't know he was paying any attention to me at all. Oh. I didn't know he knew my name. I didn't know he knew anything about me. But we ran into each other again when Eddie Murphy went to go tape Saturday Night Live after not being there for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? And we were there together, and he gave me mad love and all this. And then it had been a long time, and the Rona set in, and he built the little amphitheater in Yellow Springs in the cornfield, and summoned me to come out there to perform. I was like, what? Chappelle wants me? You know, I got on the plane and everything on the jet, and I'm on there with these other celebrities. I'm like, this is insane. And I went out there, and I took my daughter with me because I could bring one person, and nobody deserved to get on the jet with me but her. So I took my daughter. And as I was performing outdoors in the cornfield for these scads of white people from Yellow Springs, Ohio, you know, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. He reached over to my daughter and he said, I'm going to get your mother a Netflix special.
Ooh.
Now,
and maybe some natural wine, right? Ohio.
And I know that for me, you can lie to me, but don't lie to my kid. Right. So I felt like it really was going to happen because he told her. He still ain't told me he was going to give me a special. My daughter's the one who told me that. And it was a little while, but not that long. And we went into production on it. And he brought in the big guns. Stan Lathan was Sanai's father, was the director. And we shot it in Oakland, California, where I was raised at.
Oh, nice.
And we didn't skimp. We have a little vignette in the beginning, and that, was budgetary, because we had to produce that. And so I feel it was a great work of art. I feel like I looked great. I felt great, and I think the material was great. And people were like, more. It's only 33 minutes. I'm like, look, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I did what him and Netflix said to do. If they wanted me to do 2 hours, I'd have done 2 hours. If they wanted me to do 15 minutes, that's what I would have done. But, that leaves room for the next one,
Yeah. Well, as a comedian, you mentioned the coronavirus. As a comedian, do you find the current climate in America, this bouncing between horrifying and somewhat hysterical, harder to write material about? I mean, it feels like we're living in a sitcom from day to day. Does that kind of take a little bit of the juice out of your humor, or does it add to it?
Well, actually, it doesn't take any of the juice out of mine, because if I'm on a show with other people, I'll taper myself. But if you're coming to see me and you know me, or if you're bringing somebody that you think could appreciate me, then I'm no holds barred. Only because of social media have I not said some of the things I really want to say, because you never know who's recording you in the audience. People like to record. They'll have it on YouTube before you can get out the parking lot. So sometimes I taper myself on that. I don't want the FBI to show up at my door for some of the things I might say about the political climate right now. Girl. But anyway, so I do taper some, but we are living in a pretty, it's like bizarro world.
It really is.
Right now. And I wasn't raised to see what's going on now. I don't think anybody could have predicted what's going on now. And, as a Black person in America, it's not always the easiest place to be, because the climate has changed against Black people, gay people, fat people, women, abortion, everything. And I'm like, whoa. So I still pretty much do what I want to do, but I just decide where I'm going to do it at.
Well, yeah, sure. What about the audiences post-COVID? Are they ready to laugh and kind of take a break from all of that? Because we had so many scary and anxious parts of our lives happen for so long, years. Are they ready to just move on and just laugh now?
If I could go back to 9/11 for a minute before I answer that, I thought that after 9/11, I thought we were done. I said, nobody's going to want to hear no comedy. This is terrible. We're out of business. This is what I thought. But it was the opposite. People seemed like they needed it. The clubs were full. So after the Rona, because we did a lot of virtual, this and that, outdoors, speakers, YouTube, blah, blah, blah. After the Rona lifted, I found that as people eased back into the club and felt comfortable around each other, it wasn't that they were actually thirsty for comedy. It blew my mind, but they were thirsty for comedy. And thank God for that. They did want to laugh. They did want to be around people. They did want to forget, or they did want to hear people making light of such horrific situations.
And that's how we deal with all tragedies, right? I mean, most of us, we deal with it. We try to, put a little smile on it. It makes it a little easier to get through. And you're right about it. I remember 9/11 being so tough for everyone trying to get back in the groove of things. And then especially for comedians, stand-up comedians, getting people during COVID in rooms together was impossible. And then on Zoom, you lose that energy and that feedback from the audience. So I'm really glad to hear it's back. And I have seen it myself, actually. A couple comedy shows I took in, and people were ready to laugh, and I'm
Oh,
glad
yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
So are you able to talk a little bit about your writing process for the special? What inspires you? You mentioned, kind of taking from your personal life. Is that where all your material comes from, your personal life, or do you take it from, observations that you make in the real world?
99.9% of my material is taken from my real life and observing life in general.
Mm-hmm.
The special, did you see it?
I have not watched it yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
When you see it, you'll see that most of my subject matter in that special was about flying on the airplanes. Yeah. That was from personal experience and observation, which when you see it, you're going to die because everything I say is true. And everything I say is like, yeah, that happened to me. Yeah, that happened to me. You know what I mean? I don't really have notebooks and notebooks full of material. Mm-hmm. I sort of like a freestyle rapper. I sort of just spew it out there. And my frustrations. I can have a set ready to go that I'm going to do at the club. And on the way to the club, something might happen. And I feel the need to talk about that. You know what I mean? So I'm sort of spontaneous. Of course, you have to have a set, but I change that up all the time. I never do two shows exactly the same. I can't. I don't know how to do it.
Oh wow, that's fascinating. That's really fascinating. A lot of people really try to stick to, their writing, and it's always the same. You see a show twice, it's the same show. That's fascinating.
But that's a lot of pressure. That's like learning a script for a movie. Mm-hmm. What if somebody does something? Now that's going to throw you off. What if the lights go out, and come back on? That's, I don't want to be married to my script because every audience is different. I'm not going to do the same material in Macon, Georgia that I do in Chicago, Illinois.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I have to change and taper to the audience that I'm servicing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Besides the special that's out now on Netflix and Hacks, which everyone can, if they haven't watched it, I mean, I feel like everyone is talking about it, but if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's on Max. Are you working on any other projects? Anything coming out this year with your name on it that we can look forward to?
I'm not sure if it'll come out this year. I am in the midst of doing a documentary. These European filmmakers were interviewing me about somebody else's documentary. They got so enthralled in me, they put that on the back burner and started doing a documentary on me. So we have a documentary that will be followed by a book. I also am, striving to be the next female in late night because there's no females in late night, especially Black ones or females of any ethnicity. There's no Latinas, there's no, So I want to be the next Black female in late night television. I work toward that every day. We are making great strides. It's looking good. Ooh. And, of course, I have my residency here in Las Vegas at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club every Sunday and Monday night at 9:30. Those seem like odd nights for some people, but believe me, Sunday and Monday in Vegas is like Friday and Saturday anywhere else. It's no big deal. I'll be selling out.
Have you been having a great time in Vegas?
Excuse me?
Have you been having a great time in Vegas?
So great, I bought a house here.
Ooh, good for you.
Yeah, I'm a Vegas resident now.
Hacks. They're like, you're from Hacks and now you're doing a residency. You're kind
of
like...
This is what I'm saying.
You're living Deborah Vance's life.
I know.
Well, that's great. What would you like to say to the fans who love you from Hacks and they cannot wait for more stand-up? They come see you on Sundays in Las Vegas. What do you want to say to them?
I say prepare for a really gut-busting good time. I'm not a chuckle comedian. I don't make you chuckle. That would hurt my feeling. I do comedy where you're going to spit your drink out. You're going to start coughing. You may knock something over on the table. You're going to cry your lashes off. You might have to go to the restroom. Things like that, like hysterical, relatable comedy, especially if you're a chick, because 90% of comedy out here is from a man's perspective.
Right.
People will go see a comedy show with 5 men on it, and half the audience is females. So I don't understand that. But for women, I'm here for us. And I don't male bash. I want the men to know this is a comedy show that you can relate to as well. You can laugh about as well, because we all have to laugh at our own self. They'll be laughing as well. It's for everybody, black, white, old, young, gay, straight, fat, skinny, single, married, drinkers or sober. My show is for everybody.